What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Art of Suffering podcast with Dalton Darnell. This morning, I was planning on starting a live stream. It's 5:30 in the morning on Friday. My YouTube is not all the way prepared for that. Apparently, I thought it was. I thought you only had to have 50 subscribers, and I got more than that. But they're kind of setting some stuff up. But next week, we are going to start off the Friday episodes are going to be live streams from now on. This is my attempt to get some feedback. You guys can watch the live stream, comment. I'm going to have my laptop here so I can read the comments as we go. And we're pretty much going to talk about the exact same stuff. It's just going to be live instead of a recorded video. So we'll try that. I think it'll be cool. Kind of like a Friday morning 5:30 Bible study. You know, we got to get up early and do it because once my kids are up, dude, there's no sitting here and talking to this camera anymore. It's wide open once the dudes are up. So, anyways, if you're up at 5:30 on Fridays, jump in and let's talk about life, love, and the pursuit of happiness, if you know what I mean. So this week's episode, we're going to talk about battling the enemy. Last week on Friday, we talked about kind of the progression of a believer, sitting, walking, standing with God as we go down the road. This week has been very challenging for me. I've been getting absolutely just destroyed. The enemy is absolutely on my heels and has been since I left for the California clinic and since I came home. It's been brutal. So I'm gonna be completely honest. There's a pretty large part of me that fell into a bit of a depression here. Those clinics are really long days for me. They're about 12, 13 hours a day, just teaching and loving on people, and they kind of zap you. They kind of pull it all out of you. And when I come home from those, I'm pretty whooped. I'm very tired. And it kind of all started leading up to the clinic. I really felt like I had everything put together. I had my schedule was good. I had everything scheduled out for all of my different social media channels, all the marketing I needed to do. Everything was ready to go. I simply needed to get on the plane, fly to California, teach and love on these people, and come home. And so very rarely am I fully prepared for a trip like that, but this time I was. And so I got on the plane, I flew over there, and, it's a long flight from Alabama to California, and got my car rented, and off we went. And my first little whisper that the enemy was going to try to just be a prick was I was pulling into the arena day one of the clinic to set up registration. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning. I start registration at 7:30, and I ran over a nail, which is insignificant. It's not a big deal. It's like, oh, well, that sucks, But on a day like that, where you have that many people coming to learn how to rope and kind of build a relationship with you, your mental attitude starting out is pretty key. And so something annoying like that, something little like that, is what I like to call the enemy trying to steal your serenity. So you're doing a good thing. You're doing what God's asking you to do. But then there's just something happens. You're just like, damn, dude, what the heck, man? Like, of all the places to pick up a nail in a little rental truck. But anyway, we get it fixed. I had some help. There were some guys there. We get the tire slapped back on. No big deal. But that was kind of the start of it, to where I was like, that's interesting. So fast forward 2 days later, the clinic goes great. We're talking about Sunday, so I taught Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We had a roping, and halfway through the roping, I had this older lady who was in the clinic needed help with some groundwork. So I jumped off my horse and ran over there to do groundwork, and somehow or another, I found myself in a bit of a cow fight. And so I go to fighting this calf to keep it on the ground to get all the rope set and stuff, and somehow or another, I don't even know what happened. I don't remember what happened, but that pointer finger right there got hung up in something, and it broke the end of it, that last knuckle. And I got up from that little cow fight that I was in, and I was like, dadgummit, son, that finger hurts. And it was cold, it was like 40 degrees, and it's kind of cold underneath that barn. And I got up and I was like, dadgummit, man, I hit my finger on something. And I didn't really look at it much. I was just kind of shaking it off. And the further through the day we went, the more I realized, oh, that's broke. So I taped it up and kept going. But now the whole rest of the day is just overshadowed by this throbbing of that finger. And I'm like, dang it, man, that sucks. Again, this is not a huge problem, right? This is just something pecking away at your sanity. Just as the day goes on, it's like, gosh, dang it, man, why didn't I keep my hands free? Or you ask yourself questions. You're trying to talk to people. All you can think about is the end of that finger throbbing. You got to go out there and rope. I had to go out there and rope and perform for the people who were in the roping. Like I was the pro in a pro-am. So I'm the guy that's supposed to rope really good. And all these things are running through your head. And slowly but surely your sanity is getting chipped away. And so I go back to the hotel that night, and there's a winter storm sweeping across the lower part of America. And so I'm thinking, man, my flights are going to get canceled. That's really frustrating. I have a lot going on back home. I got my kids and my wife back home. These trips are designed to where I can fly in, teach the clinic, fly right back out, come back home and get done what I need to get done. And so I get up Monday morning. I drive back to the Sacramento airport, and sure enough, they delayed my first flight. I'm like, dadgummit, man. And so I sit around the airport for a couple hours, and I'm checking it, and they pushed it back another 2 hours. And I'm like, dude, I'm not going to get home till, Tuesday instead of Monday. What the heck? And so finally at about, 10:30, they cancel all of my flights. And I'm like, dadgummit, man. So I go down there, and I'm like, okay, when can you get me back to Alabama? And the earliest they can get me in, this is Monday at 10 o'clock. The earliest they can get me in is like Wednesday at 4. And I'm like, dude, there's no way. Like, I got businesses to run and stuff. Like, I got to get home and do my job. And so I go from American over to Delta and ask Delta, I'm like, can y'all get me home today? And the guy's like, oh, we can get you to Birmingham this afternoon, or this evening. It was like 9 o'clock. I'd be getting into Birmingham. Of course, those flights got delayed too, so I didn't get back till like 10 o'clock. And I'm telling you guys all this to paint the picture of the chipping away. This is the chipping away, right? So like the flat tire goes, and mentally you're like, man, that's annoying, but I'm good, right? You go, Lord, what the heck? All right, here we go. And you might say, Lord, help me with this, And then the finger thing. You're like, gosh dang it, dude. Crap happens, But there's these little pieces of your mind that were okay that are getting chipped away at now. The plane ticket gets canceled. And no big deal, right? Like, I'm not going to start being ugly to people at the airport because we're having a hard time. That poor lady can't do anything about it. So all the other ticket counters are filled with people who are self-protecting and self-promoting, just like gnawing on these people. And I'm just like, yeah, I get it, Stuff happens. We get another plane ticket handled. Now, all the while back home, my shop manager, Madison, is having all these personnel issues. I got guys just not doing right. They're not doing right. And I'm like, what is going on, man? Like, we had seen such a transformation in everybody after we did Jamie Winship's identity exercise, and things were going really good. And my team was built up to the point like I'd never seen it before. Like, we just had an incredible team of people who wanted to come to work, who were doing a great job. But this weekend, for whatever, we were having all these issues, these personnel things. And Madison was calling and talking about it, and I'm like, dude, what? It's like a freaking full moon or something. Like, what's going on? So I get on the plane from Sacramento to Atlanta, and I had a really long conversation with one of the guys that works for me. And I thought it was great. I thought it was a great conversation. But I get on that airplane Monday morning, or really Monday afternoon, and I fly to Atlanta. And at this point, I'm okay. I'm just sitting on the plane reading my Bible, and I spent a lot of time the last week reading my Bible, which is awesome. I mean, I don't usually get that many hours to read straight, and so those plane rides are really fun because you can just sit there and read and read and read and read and read. So mentally, I'm in a good spot. Me and God are in a good spot, and I'm like, all right. I touched down in Atlanta, and I got 3 missed calls from Madison. And I'm like, what in the world? It's like 8 o'clock at night or 7 o'clock at night in Alabama. What is going on? So I call her, and we had a guy that worked for me made my shipping manager feel uncomfortable, my shipping lady. And she's married, has a couple of kids, 3 kids, I think. And he just decided that he was going to go to hitting on her. Well, we're small. We're a small business. Like, there's lots of times there's only 2 people in there. And so I'm like, dude, I can't. I got one option here. I got to let the guy go. I got to. Like, this is unacceptable. Everybody knows everybody's story. Everybody knows that everybody's married. Everybody knows that everybody's got kids. Everybody knows that everybody's a believer. But we had a lapse in judgment, and we did something that made someone feel uncomfortable. And alcohol was involved, I think. And so there's repercussion of those actions. So I know this. So this is where I'm like, okay, all these little things have happened. I'm already kind of like irritated because I've been in the airport since 6:30 that morning, and it's 9 o'clock that night, and I'm still another plane ride to get home. I'm not even flying in the airport I left from, so Kara's having to come pick me up an hour and a half from the house. My truck's at the other airport. Like, there's all these logistical things that you're like, you don't need to happen during the week. And so I'm in this mental frame of mind where I'm just like, dude, what? Okay, it's all right. Lord, what is going on here? Like, what is all this BS we're having to deal with? Why did all my guys over the weekend just decide to just go rogue on me? So I know I got to go in Tuesday and fire my best help. I just know I do. Kara drives up there. She picks me up. We get home at about midnight on Monday. And there's no options here, tired or not. We got to get up and get after it the next day. There's no compromise. Like, there's things to be done. We wake up the next morning, Tuesday morning, and Kara is puking her guts up. Just straight stomach virus going on. Now, I'll tell you this. My wife never cries. Almost never. And I had to go in that morning and let go of, fire my man. And I came back home to check on her, and she's sitting on the couch, straight fetal position, crying. And I'm like, no, hell no. This ain't going to work. We got to go to the doctor. Like, you don't cry. She doesn't cry because she's throwing up. She's a stud. And so we pile her in the car and take her into the hospital. And so all the while, I am waking up crippled after this clinic. I don't know what the heck is going on, but my hands are just destroyed. And now I've in the course of 4 days, I've fired 2 people. Madison fired one, and I fired one. And so there's no one there tying ropes. And so this is on me. And this is the enemy, dude. This is what the enemy's doing. He's slowly just like chipping away at you because while 310 is a very important responsibility of mine, that's a thing for me to steward. Like, my wife's sick. She is in the hospital. Like, I'm not going to tie ropes. Sorry. If you ordered a rope this week, it's going to be late. And I apologize. But there's things that are more important than that. And so I'm in the hospital with her, and we're trying to get all this figured out. And they take her back in the ER and they start running all these tests. And they find a blood clot in her lung. She's got a gut infection and a blood clot in her lung. And so they're going to admit her. And we're like, where did this come from? You know? Like, what is going on? I left. Everything was completely normal. I come back, and there's all these little things. And then now this is a big thing, you know? So they're admitting her to the hospital, and I still haven't seen my kids since I got back. We're trying to figure out stuff for them, and all the while, I am just becoming more and more tired and tired and tired and tired. So I go home that night because there's nowhere for me to sleep in the ER. And I lay my head down and I just pray. And I'm like, Lord, help me. Help me get rid of these demons, man. Like, this is madness. And I'm in a pretty poor mental state here. I got my whole team's erupted. The clinic was good, but I'm kind of tore up from the clinic. My arthritis is going ham. I don't know if it's because my immune system gets all jazzed up on an airplane or because I was at the hospital or whatever. You know, there's more germs around or something, and my immune system starts ramping up, and my autoimmune disorder is my immune system attacking my joints. So, like, this hand is almost completely immobile this morning. But I got to go in and tie all these ropes. And tying ropes with a broke finger and arthritis, the word that I would use is painful. It's just everything that you do hurts. And anybody that lives with a chronic condition like that knows that mentally you can hang in there for a while on your own. Like, you can just say, okay, it's fine. I'm going to push through. But the long-term effects of chronic fatigue and pain just mentally just chips away at you. It's like every knot you tie, every time you pick the baby up and put him in the car seat, every time you unbuckle his car seat, every time you pick up your cup of coffee, it's like searing pain. And I choose to stay away from the why questions, like, why is this happening? You know what I'm saying? And I adopt the Jamie Winship approach of, what do you want me to learn and what do you want me to do? And so that's where I'm trying to stay. So I wake up the next morning. This would be Wednesday morning. And just crippled up. And I got to run. The kids got a doctor's appointment. So I go get them. I take them to the doctor's appointment. Then we go to Kara. She's still in the ER. They're still trying to figure stuff out. Doing all these tests and stuff. And then I got to go to work. I mean, I just got to. So Kara's like, yeah, dude, go to work, get your stuff done, no big deal. My wife's really cool like that. And so I'll go in and tie the ropes. Fast forward to last night, night before last. This has been Wednesday night. They take her to a room. She's got to stay in the hospital again. We thought it was going to be one day. And I am mentally whooped here. Like, mentally, I'm having a hard time. And once again, Wednesday night, I lay my head down on the pillow. I get the boys in the bed. And I ask God, I'm like, God, I need your strength. Like, I can't do this. I'm kind of losing my freaking mind here. Nothing. And so Thursday morning comes. This would have been yesterday. We get up. I wake up late because I'm smoked. I get Wiley to school late, and we go to take care of some breakfast. And the hospital's on the other side of town from the rope shop. And we got a big wholesale order that's got to go to NRS, so I got to go in and tie that because there's nobody to tie. Kara's up there waiting to get out. And I get Waylon out of the car, and we walk all the way across the damn parking lot over to the ER spot. And I try to go through the door at the ER. And this is so minuscule, man. Like, this setting me off is the stupidest thing. But, so I'm like, hey, I'm here to see Kara Darnell. She's in room 105 or whatever. And the lady's like, oh, you can't use this door. You got to use the front. And I said, man, where's the front? You know, I got Waylon with me. I got all this crap to take her for breakfast. She goes, oh, you walk out of here and go around and walk all the way up there. And the path that she described was like 400 or 500 yards. And I was like, dude, oh my gosh. Honestly, typically on a normal week, not a big deal. Walking 500 yards is not a big deal. But in this moment, I was just totally defeated, which is the stupidest thing ever, and that'll make you feel dumb regardless. But everything in my soul, I had to check up. My flesh, I had to go, whoa, Boone, no. Because I just wanted to chew that lady. I was like, man, just let me through the freaking door. The elevator's right there, But I didn't. I said, okay. And I walked out into that parking lot, and I grabbed Waylon's hand, and he has no clue, And I just went toe to toe with the enemy. I didn't ask God for strength. I didn't ask him to come down and fight my battles for me. I powerfully, I with my whole chest rebuked the enemy in the name of Jesus. Was just like, hey buddy, fuck you. In the name of Jesus Christ, get out of here. Take your demons, take your curses, and miss me with it. Like this ain't gonna work for me. You got to go on somewhere else. And everybody says, the enemy's not gonna pick on you unless you're doing something right. And there is a part of that I relish in, that I'm proud of. But you guys know as well as I do, once you're in the onslaught, once you're getting freaking smoked, it's hard to maintain that perspective. And it's also hard to maintain the perspective of being who Christ asked you to be. When everything in your life is just going wrong, and you just got this monster shit storm of stuff happening, and you're like tired, don't know what to do, maybe a little scared about the care thing. But when I walked out in that parking lot, I was like, all right, I am a freaking trained, honed warrior for the kingdom of heaven. And God gave me the authority to rebuke the enemy. And that's what we're going to do. It was almost instantaneous. I spent 2 nights praying for God to help me. And then I spent 2.5 minute session in a parking lot rebuking the enemy, and he's gone. He vanishes, right? Like from my mental state. I still got the arthritis thing going on. Kara's back from the hospital. I got a guy hired in the midst of all this BS. But I think there's far more power in our authority than we know. I think there's far more power in what God has given us to do on our own. And I think that's what he's asking me to do. He's just kind of holding right there going, hey man, I've given you the tools. I've given you all the authority you need to rebuke that sucker and send him packing. And you got to do it. And it's no different than last week. We talked about the walking phase versus the standing phase. I am most certainly in the standing phase. And I was yearning for the sitting phase. I was yearning for the walking phase. But that's not where we're at. And so it totally worked. Like this morning, I woke up early, felt like a freaking champion mentally. Now, physically, I am smoked. Like, my freaking hands are wrecked right now. But that's just the cross that I carry. The arthritis is just part of my... It proclaims God's glory more than anything, that I can do what I do with it. But I wanted to make this episode and tell this story this morning to encourage you. Like when you feel old possum breath sneaking around you, wanting to kill, steal, and destroy everything that God has good for you and lie to you. And that's what was happening is I was believing the lies, right? You get tired. Your body starts getting tired. Your mind starts getting tired. You start believing these little lies of like, I just need to rest. No, you need to tap into the source where strength comes from. And then God will give you rest. You need to lean on what He has taught you. Dig back in the files of your mind to the part of the truth or the word that says, I have given you authority. And those battles, those conversations with the enemy do not sound like a pretty thing. They are, for me, I don't know about you guys, but for me, they are most certainly rated TVMA. Like, I don't cuss people out in my life. I don't. It's not a thing. I love people. But that son of a buck there, he gets both barrels. Because he's creeping on you, dude. He's sneaking in there. He's lying to you. He's lying to your family. And all things are possible through Christ who strengthens me. And that's what you need the strength for, is to stand back up and stand firm. Like, sure, he knocks you down. And here's what everybody will say. Everybody will look at that thumbnail, they'll look at the title, and they'll go, oh, the enemy's defeated. He is. Christ defeated death. But the enemy's got a mission, and that is to drag you to hell. And the best way for him to do that with a guy who's a believer already, if he can't get you with the easy stuff, right, is going to be breaking you down mentally and physically and then lying to you to where you start feeling like none of this shit's worth it. It's not worth it. I don't have time for the podcast. It's been a bad week. Yada, yada, yada. Get out of here. Get out of here, dude. Go lie to somebody else. I know what the King's asking me to do. I know what he's asking me to do. And just because you're over here making my life a living hell doesn't mean I'm going to quit, you sorry sucker. Go on somewhere. And the second you proclaim that out loud and call upon the authority Jesus has given us, he freaking goat tucks tail and runs. He's a coward. All he can do is lie. So yes, Christ defeated him on the cross, but that doesn't mean he's not going to try to whoop your ass the whole time you're down here. His goal is to drag you down there, man. And so I don't care. All these people will say this like we're not in a that's probably the enemy feeding that to the church. Oh, he's defeated. He's not going to do anything. No, he's constantly attacking God's children. And he's defeated by what God did, but the fact is that we got to fight him. You got to keep him off of your kids and off of your wife and off of you. Now, God gave us the tools to do this, but anybody who's fought before knows that it's hard and tiring. And so I encourage you to stand firm in the authority that's been given to you, man. If the enemy is on you like that, freaking shove him off of there. Get off of me, man. Go on somewhere else. And he's going to come back. But that's the thing about fighting, baby. It's like training. Like, you just get better. You just get better at it. Because next time, it won't take me 3 damn days to go to him. It'll take me 1. And you think I ought to know this by now, but you forget. The battles, they get spaced out to where, like, you get tired or worn down, and your initial fleshly reaction is to try to find comfort, when the only way out of the battle is through the middle of it. And so now Kara's back home. They got her on some blood thinners for the clot thing, and it's all good. She's going to be fine. We are training a new guy It's going to be a long road to hoe because I got a lot of clinics and now I don't have anybody to tie ropes. Really, we got to get him trained up. But it's okay, man. God closes doors and opens other ones, and I truly pray for those guys that it was time. It was their time to be done at 310, and I pray that their lives continue in the right direction. Some mistakes have consequences, and this one did. And that sucks, but it's just the truth. But this ain't no dog petting contest, guys. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice or see it on the camera. I'm tired. And damn, we're a month in, you know. We got a long road to hoe here. So God will most certainly strengthen me for the battles to come. And that was what this was. It was an exercise in asserting my authority over the enemy, because that's what I'm here to do. It was an exercise in being a good husband and a good father and a good steward of what God has given me. And so this Progressive Overload episode doesn't feel like Progressive Overload. It feels like garbage. But typically you don't come out of a fight feeling good. So, again, next week, this episode will be a live stream. I'll still post it to all the listening platforms, so Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all that. It'll still get posted there. But I just want you guys to be able to talk back and forth, I guess, be more like a Bible study. So if y'all want to jump in 5:30 on Friday mornings, I know it's early, but that's the only time I got. So I don't really have a choice there. But y'all hang in there this week. On Monday, we're dropping the episode of the next installment of The Godly Wife, her roles and responsibilities. So y'all check that out. I love you. Never weaken.